Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning! Happy Victory Monday across the Delaware Valley. Welcome in. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Go to TrueMark.com/PHLY to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. Oh my, sometimes the box score lies. Sometimes the box score tells a different tale than what really happened. So when we look at yesterday, Dateline Baltimore, let's look at what the box score said. First downs, the Ravens 24, the Eagles 17. Total plays, the Ravens 71, the Eagles 54. Time of possession, the Ravens 33 minutes 51 seconds, the Eagles 26 minutes 9 seconds. Total yards, the Ravens 372. The Eagles, 252. Passing yards, the Ravens, 206. The Eagles, 112. And yet, you know what's not in the box score? The big red thing in the middle of your body. That's what's not in the box score. You know what's not in the box score? Cooper DeJean laying the wood on Derrick Henry. It might be the greatest tackle of all time. I mean, square it up, shoulders, perfect technique, an Iowa technique, laying the hat, squared up, and King Henry gets slain. Oh, my. Bagging Henry to the ground. You know what's not in the box score? Jalen Carter playing King Kong. I mean, do you want to talk about a complete and utter disruption of the Ravens offense, of Lamar? Look no further than Jalen Carter, who was all over the field, who was in the backfield next to Lamar. It was uncanny how often he got penetration, how often he got they did not let Lamar loose. Every time he tried to circle, and every time Lamar, who was a master, right? Who can be a phantom, every time he was out and trying to freelance, he got taken down. He got taken down. They mushed him. They rushed him. And you know what's not in the box score? Zach Bond is not in the box score. I mean, tackles, look at it, nice. But his true impact in the game yesterday, all over the freaking field, was not in a box score. Saquon, yeah, it looked good. 107 yards, another touchdown. But it's the pure dominance, right? Just when they needed to do something. Let's face it, the Eagles had 3 drives, 3 big drives the entire game. I mean, 6 plays, the first one, 49 yards. that went to Goddard. 9 plays, 68 yards that resulted in the Hurts sneak. And, of course, the 7 plays, 71 yards where Saquon finally breaks through. 28-yard run, 25-yard run to pay dirt. I mean, that was just incredible. It was a victory of heart. It was a victory of coaching. The fan genius, once again, right? The Ravens take an early lead. It's 9-0. Justin Tucker is a mess, but it's 9-0. And you go, all right, well, could this be the reality check game? I think my man Vinny wrote that to me. This is the reality check game. But fan genius again. What happened? Early drives, he adjusts. And what he did was he unleashed Carter. And really, the most impressive thing about it was just how they defended Lamar. They boxed him in. They completely frustrated Lamar Jackson. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. There were a couple moments when I took great glee when Nelson Aguilar dropped a couple big balls. And all I kept thinking about was there he is, the headless horseman with no hands. He's got Waldo, if somebody remembers the radio show, Waldo's for hands. But ultimately, it was the Eagles' trenches that won yet again. And it's what makes them the most dangerous team in the NFL. Not just the NFC East, not just the NFC, but in the entire league. It's the Eagles and Lions right now for superiority of the NFL. Raiders, I mean, the Chiefs struggle with the Raiders on Friday. Eagles take care of the Ravens. Yeah, the Bills looked good last night in the snow. But again, this Eagle team, San Fran's a mess. And this Eagles team is just a beast on both sides of the ball when it comes to the trenches. Wow, what a victory. An incredible victory Monday. Good morning, VG. E-A-T-L-E-S, Eagles!
Hell yeah, dude.
That was an old school, incredible defense, rushing. Like, I mean, I got to tell you, that was a Picasso in my eyes.
Best team in the NFL. Best team. Lions, they ain't pulling that off, man. There's no doubt they're the best team. God bless what Howie Roseman's done with the youth and turned around this defense. And Fangio and Barkley are such a difference maker. The two of them combined have wiped out any chance of anything like last year happening. They are just so solid and together on everything they do. And, screw ES. I'm looking at these top headlines. They don't mention the Eagles in these top headlines. They mention Mike Tomlin calls on Pickens to grow up after flags. That's worthy of a top headline and not the Eagles physically manhandling the Ravens?
It was
Are you
a
kidding
showdown.
me?
Let's face it. That was the biggest showdown of the week.
Right.
Of this week.
Absolutely.
Week 13 in the NFL. That was the big showdown. It
Yep.
was an AFC power and an NFC power. Let's see.
Yep.
And the Eagles showed you that they are the powerhouse.
Yeah. Who's better?
Dave, here's the thing that's absolutely stunning. Dude, they have the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
They do.
And think about it.
I mean, I go through it. Kansas City's really good with my boy. All right, look around. I don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh's good. They gave up a lot of points to Cincinnati yesterday. This defense
From a year ago, Desai, Chaos, Matt Patricia. They got all these rookies. It's ridiculous the change they've made.
Yeah, it really is. It's unbelievable what they have done defensively. Now, when you add Carter just becoming a beast.
Who gets held every play.
Right?
Every
We were
play,
talking
he's
about-
getting tackled
He
and
gets
hooked.
tackled and hooked every play. And all he is a disruptor. Dude, he's King Kong. All right? My man Tasty Cake Dom hit me up. King Kong. He is. He's King Kong. He's unstoppable. You can't. He's a beast.
When you don't hold him, he's in the backfield before the ball even hits the running back.
He's so good. Such a dominant force. Zach Bowen.
There was a 3rd and 5. Big stop, Bond and Jalix in the backfield, and forces a Tucker field goal, and he shanks another one.
By the way, Jalix.
Nice. He had a
looked good.
Special teams play he made.
Jalix Hunt. Oh, my. I find a vibe about Jalix. Jalix it looks good, man.
The X-Man.
I gotta tell you, their defense is the best in football.
Yo, props to Nick. 4th and 2. You know, he's probably thinking, go for it. He kicks the punt. He punts. He pinned him back, and that changed the whole game.
It did.
Changed the whole game, that punt.
Listen, he coached a wonderful game.
Yep.
Sirianni coached a wonderful game. An incredible game. I mean, I got to tell you, I was floored.
To think about what they did, they come out with, it's got to be the worst scripts since Dinner with Schmucks.
Right.
You get Barkley runs 12 yards, and then they throw to Paris Campbell in triple coverage. They do that weird Shipley behind pass, and then Britton Covey. They do that. They stink in the first quarter for the most of it, and in the third quarter, they're non-existent offensively, and they still dominate.
It's amazing that you dominate from the trenches, right?
Yeah.
I mean they had 112 passing yards.
Right.
I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
Like there was no, and all you needed to do was run the ball. I mean, it goes back to their identity. And their identity as a downhill running team. Now, what matches that identity? Freaking defense.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to run the ball and be a downhill running team, you got to have defense. And they got the best. That's what excites me, dude. They have the best defense. Give me a defense.
There's nobody close right now defensively with them.
The lines are good. They're not great. Right? They're good
not
defense.
great without Hutchinson.
Right? No. I obviously the Niners have no more teeth. You know that. Yeah. Listen, the Minnesota defense, I liked it early. It's not the same defense.
No, they struggled this weekend.
They give up, again, the Bears 2 weeks ago, they were up 11, and the Bears go down, get an 8, get the onside kick, go right down, get a 3 to tie it, go to overtime. Even yesterday, they were down to Arizona, like you said. So there's nobody. I mean, Kansas City is a good defense. They have a really good, obviously, great coordinator. But other than that, Chargers maybe, Denver. But the Eagles' defense, to me,
who's Tristan McCollum? Comes in, he looks great. I'll tell you what, Avonte Maddox, he played 2 snaps yesterday. It felt like 6. And every time he's on the field, he's a disaster.
I know.
You got to keep him off the field.
Horrible. But again, they did.
Yeah, I know. You think two snaps is enough.
It was. You look at that defense and what they did, it was unbelievable, dude.
And Nick's matured. They stuck to the running game, and it's going to wear them down eventually. There comes Saquon, second half. Brad Feinberg, we see you. He bet the under. I saw him on the NBC pregame show touting the under on Barkley yards.
You got him.
Yeah.
Well, what he did, what Barkley did, is that at some point he's going to bust loose, and that's the greatest thing. Like, having that in your back pocket, being able to run the ball and play defense. My God, that travels.
Travels. It plays in any weather. You're good.
I mean, it does. It plays in any weather. Don't let the Eagles get home field. And right now, you got Carolina coming up. They got through the toughest part of their schedule with 2 wins.
Skeeves is worried about Carolina.
And Ravens.
I'm not worried about Carolina.
Now you're not.
Rams and Ravens, both victories. I got to tell you, man, it's something. Like, watching this team, it's amazing. Their defense is as good as it's been since Jim Johnson was here.
Yeah. And the thing about Barkley, too, like, the touchdown run was amazing, but there was a 3rd and 7, I think. I haven't, 3 minutes left. 3rd and 7. He gets like 3 yards, and then you just see him put his head down, and there's nothing stopping him. He carries like 2 Ravens for the extra 4 yards, 5 yards for the first down.
Yeah, he's
once his legs get going, man.
He's unbelievable, man. He's unbelievable.
He is.
He's
like Earl Campbell.
Right? It's just unreal. I mean, I can't believe it. It's uncanny what he's done.
Nolan Smith, everyone's popping off. And like you said, that DeJean tackle. That's like textbook clinic. Just show it.
Dude, the Cooper tackle. Cooper shot.
Wrap and drive the legs.
I mean, it's just King Henry. who King Henry just bowls everybody over. And Cooper, dude, give it to me. I know we're going to see it later in the playback, but come on. Look at this tackle. This gets me nuts. Look at it. Oh, my. Drives him to the ground. Perfect technique. Gets low. Leads with his shoulder. Look at it. Boom. Coop.
Look at that. Derrick Henry's totally in the air.
Look at this. Oh, my God. Oh, that's ridiculous, dude.
Undefeated since that guy's been starting.
Oh, my God. That's ridiculous. That's called football porn right there.
Yeah, it is.
Are you kidding
100%.
me? Are you kidding me with that tackle? This is Henry.
That's a big
Derrick Henry. Like you see him in the State Farm commercial, pushing over refrigerators
right.
and all the whole thing. And Coop just leveled him. The Rook.
That's those fundamentals. Those Iowa fundamentals, man.
Spicy mustard.
Nah, you're not tackling.
I mean, that's outrageous what you just saw. Oh, my God. That was one of the greatest hits. I think about tackles, and there's been some incredible
Well, that's the thing.
ones.
It's not like this like pop-in hit where it's decimating a guy. It's just the perfect tackle. If you've ever played or seen people teaching tackling, that's everything.
It.
Yeah,
that's how you drive. That's how you
wrap and drive.
Oh, my God. Like, I think about it. The only one, the Sheldon Brown against, who was it on the Saints?
Oh, it's the running back, dude.
Yeah.
Ricky, no.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Deuce McAllister, maybe? Who
Reggie?
Reggie Bush. Yeah, it was Reggie Bush. It was Sheldon Brown going right through Reggie Bush. This is different.
But in a way, Reggie Bush wasn't. He was looking for the ball first.
Yeah,
and they got popped.
Yeah.
King Henry's straight on looking at him.
This is square, shoulder v shoulder. Square, everybody squared up. Like, King Henry squared up. He's coming at you. Yeah. And Coop just comes squared up and gives you a shoulder. Wow. My God. I could do a whole show on that. Are you kidding me? That might be my favorite play. And I don't know. I can't tell you when. All the Philly special, all the Philly. That to me is Philly. All right?
All right, man, you might be getting a little out of hand.
I don't care.
You might be getting a little out of control right now.
I don't care. Yeah. Dude, that was better than Philly. All right? It was. It was better.
I can't go there with you.
I can. It was better than Philly. Let me see it again. Andrew. Andrew, play it again.
It's going to be the opening of the show.
Come on. I want to see it again. This is better than Philly. This is Derrick Henry. Look at that. Oh, my. Cooper.
Dude, the way he wraps both legs, he's just defenseless.
Look at his power.
Yeah.
Look at the form. And he just finishes. Like, that's beautiful. I mean, I can only imagine Vic Fangio's face after he saw that.
That's got to be number one game ball right there.
Oh, my God. That was so impressive. My God.
No, Henry probably going to be taking some shots in the film room when they see that one.
Well, what are you going to do? I mean, you know, the kid got you.
He did.
Right? Like, the kid got you. That's it,
beat.
bro.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Henry gets a lot of it, right? Like, Henry gets rolling. But just the technique. Like, that's what was missing from this Eagles defense. How many times did we say it? Like, this is why they're this good, you know? I mean, their offense is like, with Barkley and the run game is great. But the reason why they're a Super Bowl contender and maybe a favorite is because of their defense.
Yeah.
They're tackling. How many times last year? Look at the early on in the season. We talked about no tackling.
Everything has changed. I don't know why. But ever since Coop started, the whole mentality changed in this defense.
And Zach Bond.
And
right?
Zach
like
Bond.
Zach
But Zach
Bond.
Bond was having a decent. He was playing well the first 4
Kobe,
games. Yeah.
Right? He went from hitting air to just hitting everything.
But the mentality shifted once Coop took over the slot.
You got somebody in the middle of the field. Like, having somebody that could be physical in the middle of the field, my God, it just changes. Like, I just remember their tackling was atrocious, right? Like, even the Super Bowl in 2022 that year, they didn't tackle. This team now, look at Jalen Carter, dude. Like, seriously.
I think it's also, too, like, Vic has been given the freedom to not play certain players and stuff, and he's found his dues. Whether you paid them a lot or not, he found his dues and put him in his position. I don't know. Vic is like
the fan genius.
Yeah,
he's the fan genius.
BDV.
Not for nothing, right? Like, you look at what he's done. Like, he came here. They were playing his system. Now he comes. You get the real thing, and he's adjusted. It's amazing how. First couple drives, teams get him, right? And then he plays rope and dope or whatever it is, and he adjusts, and then that's it.
And no one can adjust to his adjustment somehow. I don't understand.
Let's face it. Even like it took a ridiculous touchdown throw to throw to Andrews
was ridiculous.
Yeah, and by the way,
there's very few people on the planet that can make that
by
throw.
the way, it's a horrible decision. Like, you can't throw in a triple coverage, right? It just so happened it was a great throw, perfect placement, and Andrews is bigger than everybody.
Yep.
So he goes up and gets it, and it's a basketball play. But in reality, you're not supposed to make that throw.
No,
like, any kind of quarterback,
it's
you don't
dangerous.
do that. Oh, my God, dude. Amazing.
They're young.
Super Bowl, cuz. Shoot New Orleans.
If they're not in this is a Super Bowl team.
Are we packing bags? Are we going?
Yeah, we're going.
Can you get room reservations down there? Let's see. They block out all
I
the
don't know.
rooms?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't.
That's
please,
jumping too far
Don't
ahead.
search. We'll get. We'll go to proper
You got to
channels.
do it way in advance to get the cheaper rates.
I know, but they're going to handle it, right? Like, we can't do it on the show.
I wouldn't have the guts to do a non-refundable one. I do one I can get my refund on and cancel it.
No, I know, but let them do it. All right, let them put it this way. We're not jinxing. All right.
Yeah, you don't want that.
I was just planning on going on myself. Nothing to do with
no. I mean, we're doing it, man.
Nothing to do with the show. I was just going to go.
We're doing it. Hey, by the way, today is Cyber Monday. It's a Victory Cyber Monday, and we have a special going on here to become a diehard. Now, we really want you to become a diehard. You get all kinds of great stuff. Tell them, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, if you want any type of coverage that we get from like all of our Phillies, our Eagles, our Flyers guys, we have it there.
First of all, Frady Films is worth the price of a diehard.
Oh, his breakdowns are superior.
During his game plan, Friday game plan, all that inside stuff are, all the Sixer stuff, the Flyer stuff, right? You name it.
You got legends, Jimmy Stakes.
Jimmy Stakes covering the winter meetings for us. Very excited, as because all his baseball coverage is ridiculous. Become a diehard, allphly.com, and you can check it out. It's a great deal right now. What is it, $36?
Yeah, it's $36 right now. For the next 36 hours, you can get it for $36 for the year. Typically, it's $80 annually. So right now is the best deal to get it. So I would get it right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Charlie's hockey coverage is crazy.
Yeah, and he takes you right into practice.
I mean, Zach Berman, come on.
Yeah, Z Berman.
I talk about Zachariah. He was a little head the post-game interviews.
Anyway, we just want to let you know it's Cyber Monday, so you can check that out. By the way, let's talk Primo Hoagies because it was a Primo day yesterday. How Primo was it? Well, that Cooper tackle. That was like a big time Primo Italian, right? Like that thing was a monster. My God. Anyway, I got to stop talking about it because I get excited talking about Cooper's tackle. Go make sure you go to PrimoHoagies.com. Listen, anything you want, you're going to have, we get the holiday seasons coming up, right? There's going to be all kinds of events and everything, people coming over. Make sure you go get your Primos, all right? Because people are going to pop over, nothing better, right? And then, we got a big party tray. In fact, they delivered the big party tray here. Everybody's going to be diving into the Primos later, big smiles. They got something for everyone. Of course, made on that incredible roll, baked in-store every couple hours, using only the finest human meats and cheeses. Primo Hoagies. Every Wednesday is Primo Rewards Day. Become a reward member. All kinds of benefits, like you get Primo-sized hoagies at a discount. So check it out, primohoagies.com. You'll say what I would say. It's not just a hoagie. It's a Primo.
Talk about our
Primo
friends.
tackle.
Primo tackle. Talk about our friends over at Ace Hardware Home Services. Some of the most stressful things in life can be home repairs, leaky pipes, air conditioning issues. We got heating issues now. You got a faucet that keeps leaking. Well, Ace Hardware, they got you. They got a guy for that. They like people say, I got a guy. Ace Hardware is the guy for everything, whether it's piping and plumbing and air conditioning, electricity, from plumbing to heating to cooling. They got trusted pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services are bringing helpful home and the helpful assistance that you used to get in their stores. Now you get it in your own home. They got people come out right to you. Good service. You got the trusted Ace Hardware people. So visit Ace Hardware Home Services online, www.acehardwarehomeservices.com, to get you started on your next project and take the stress out of it so you can relax and let the pros handle it.
I love it. Ace Hardware, homeservices.com.
Eddie Wright taking a shot at Charlie, saying it's great if he gets up on time.
All's forgiven. He apologized. All's forgiven. A guy that I can always count on, all right? He's there all the time, and he does such a great job. That's why you need to become a diehard, because you get to read all of Zach's breakdowns, all his stuff. He's phenomenal. The great Zach Berman. Zachariah!
Hey, good morning. Good seeing you guys.
Wait, nice view of the harbor right there. I love it.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I was going to save this for the end. I'm done. I'm down here in Baltimore. I was just in the lobby of the hotel, and Jeff from Downingtown says, hey, ask Anthony what's going on with Matt Rule. But we can save that for another time. I just think it was awesome seeing a listener, a viewer, right down here in Baltimore. I said, I'm going to be on in 10 minutes. I'll tell Anthony that you said hello. It was Jeff from Downingtown.
Oh, it's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah. Zach, there's so much to unwrap from yesterday, but when we're talking about rapping, we got to lead with the tackle. The hit that heard around the world. It was Coop wrapping up Henry, and that to me signified the entire game. It was the Eagles' defense.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you thought that too, because that's how I led my article. But with that play and that theme, because to me, what jumped out, and Nick Sirianni said this after the game, was the physicality of the Eagles. And I bring that up because throughout the week, the entire message was, can the Eagles match the Ravens? And when you play Baltimore, it's going to be a tough physical game. And when Nick was asked about matching the physicality of the Ravens, Nick said, no, they have to match our physicality. And Cooper DeJean said the same thing. I was speaking to Cooper in the locker room, and he said, football's a physical game. It's late in the season. It's cold. This is when you show how physical you are. And he says teams have to match them. And if teams match them, the Eagles will raise it up a level. You saw that on Cooper DeJean stop with Derrick Henry. You saw that on Zach Bond stop with Cooper Henry. You saw that with Jalen Carter playing 70 snaps, right? 99% of the snaps, 71 snaps.
He's kicked out.
Yeah.
He was a wrecker, a game wrecker the entire night. Lamar couldn't get free, right? The way Fangio designed that thing, it was a perfect mush rush, because they rarely let him get free so he can freelance.
Exactly. Like teams don't do that against Baltimore. And that's why I was so impressed. For full disclosure, I picked the Ravens to win that game. I thought the Ravens were the better team. And I can't say enough about the way the Eagles played, especially defensively, with what Vic Fangio did, the way those players answered the bell. And it's really just it's meat and potatoes, like real hard-nosed assignment sound football. Yeah, they tackle well. And that's what in the locker room I went from Zach Bond to Jalen Carter to CJ Gardner-Johnson to Cooper DeJean. Like I'm making the round in the locker room, and they're all saying the same thing. And it's interesting. You think about some of the great Eagles defenses in the past, and you have a lot of takeaways. You have a lot of sacks. What jumps out about this group is they just play tough football each down, each drive, and they adjust as the game goes on.
Dude, yes, they're not about the front right. Listen, we all love the sack, right?
Yeah.
But this football, this is pure defensive football. I mean, assignment football. This is we tackle, we get off blocks, we disrupt.
Yep.
Like I can't tell you how enjoyable it's the best defense in the league. Dude, I watch this whole league. I look around. You got Kansas City. You know, I liked what the Chargers are doing a little bit, right? You go around, right? It's better. Minnesota, it's better than all of them.
You're absolutely right, and I did not see that coming this year.
No.
And it's without now Jalen Carter's an outstanding player, but it's without a player who has that reputation of being a blue chip guy. And it really, it goes back to a conversation we had during training camp when I kept saying it's about the players, it's not about the coach. And you were right. Like the scheme matters the game plans matter so much. What Vic Fangio has brought to this team cannot be overstated.
All right, I got an assignment for you. We'll do this. So if you go back and look, right, during this 8-game winning streak, and look at the adjustments in game that Fangio has made, because you saw it, right? Like Cincinnati went down, they took almost the whole quarter, right? You look last night, they give up 9 early. The Rams got 2 long drives against them early. And then the adjustments come. I want to know about the adjustments because he's made it in every game, and then they just become just completely stalwart.
I speak to Vic tomorrow at 11:30. I will come with stats ready, and I will ask him that question about what changes after the first, second drive of the game. And I heard some guys talk about it in the locker room where they said, like, early in the game, you're just feeling it out. You're seeing what they do. And then that's when you start to play. But I'm going to ask Vic that question specifically because you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he's looking and go into the details of how the switch. Like usually it's after drive 2, right, between 2 and 3, and you can see his different calls, what he's doing, like what he sees. Like I get it because you want to see before you counterpunch. You want to see what they got, where you can then how you adjust your own.
Yep.
But I'm fascinated by the chess match, right? Like this is, all right, it's the fan genius turn now. He went a couple times. Yeah. He messed with his pawn, right? He's kind of seeing what you're doing. And then he starts to really play. And I want to get into that mode where what's he thinking when he begins to play chess? Because that's what's happening, man. It's awesome.
I'm gonna ask that for you. I'm gonna find out. But I also think there's a lot of merit to it's the same stuff that your son does when he plays football. Like they populate to the ball, they tackle, they're in there, and there's so many teams that beat themselves. The Eagles don't do it. And by the way, like this sounds like an intangible, but CJ Gardner-Johnson brought it up. And as I was writing last night, I'm like, this is so true. He said, this is a want to game. You have to want to tackle Derrick Henry. You have to want to, stay with Lamar Jackson. There's a lot of guys who are like, here comes Derrick Henry. And Cooper DeJean doesn't say that. And Zach Bond doesn't say like those guys are there. I asked Zach Bond after the game, which play did you feel more proud of? That sack or that third down stop of that sack Lamar, third down stop of Henry? And he said it was the third down stop of Henry, because he said he saw that on film. He expected them to go with it. He actually abandoned his assignment on the play. So he kind of didn't do what we said, because he knew that was coming, and he made the play. And he's like, that's what you do during the week, and then you play free on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. You see it, man. You completely see it, how it just goes. I mean, watching them play defense is amazing. And look, it's the perfect compliment to who they are. How many times did we say early in the year, you got to know your identity? They're a downhill running team. Like, how many times did we say that, you and I? Right? Downhill running team. And they embraced it. And Barkley, again, he thanked Kellen Moore. Thanks for committing to the run. I mean, when you have a downhill running team and you marry it with that kind of defense, guess what, dude? You're tough to beat.
Yeah, and to that point, like that's why yesterday was a proof of concept game for that identity, because teams don't run like that on the Ravens. You mentioned Saquon. Najee Harris had the most yards against the Ravens this year, or something like 64 yards. Right? Saquon runs for over 100. Saquon, the way that they stuck to it. You see what he's done in the fourth quarter. If you took out Saquon's first 3 quarters this season and just looked at his fourth quarter stats, he would still be among the 32 leading rushers in the league. He has more yards before contact than any running back in the NFL, which is a testament to this offensive line. But the fact that they stick with it, AJ Brown said after the game, he said late in the game, they go up to Saquon, they say, all right, put on your cape. And that's exactly what happens. Like it's not a coincidence. Saquon has 10 rushes of 25 plus yards this year. 4 of those rushes have come in the fourth quarter. That's not a coincidence.
Oh, man, think about that. Think about it.
Hey, Zach, these are the same players some of them are the same players as last year. Like Jalen Carter, he's got quotes for like, no one can outdo me, and he was not going to let Lamar Jackson bust free from him. I read in your piece today. And Cooper's got swagger, which I know he comes from Iowa, but is Vic's really brought a whole swagger here? It feels like that's infected these guys, and the longer they're around Vic, the more confident and the more swagger they get. No,
it's a good point. I think the winning does that, right? I mean, I think the winning brings the swagger more than the swagger brings the winning.
We had 10 wins last year here. I didn't feel no swagger.
That's a really good point, VG, because I can say, being in that building every day, last year when they were 10-1, it didn't feel like 10-1. Like it felt like you were going to the dentist office every day. And here, like this is a locker room that's enjoying themselves, it's having fun. There is a swagger. And whether that comes from Vic, whether that comes from Nick, whether that comes from like just the personalities in the room, I think this is a team that is lighter, is having more, it doesn't have like the burden, the weight that they carried last year.
Oh, think about that. That's wild. It's a great point you bring up, VJ, that, they weren't, it didn't feel like that.
No.
Like it just feels completely different. They feel to me like the best team in football. Like I thought the same like you did. I go, listen, you're not going to win them all. This is probably their, reality check. A buddy of mine sent me that yesterday, that it was their reality check. And I'll go, I could see it. You're coming off of the Rams, second straight road game. You got to go down at some point. And the way they won, that screams like you're the toughest team in football. I mean, they're the toughest team right now because of their trenches. Howie always, listen, we talked about Howie a million times about your O-line and your D-line. And the interior part of the defensive line is what won that game yesterday, because Lamar kept getting frustrated. He couldn't step up in the pocket. He's used to, your ends, right, will get too deep. He steps up into the pocket and then can veer left or right and make a play. And they never let him get they were always hunting his feet. Like they were at his feet constantly.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely, and that's That's fundamentals. That's coaching. But I think your point about the toughness of this team, that's especially relevant when you consider. Look, it's December 2nd today. The Eagles, the way their schedule breaks is 4 of their last 5 games are at home. The one that's on the road is in Washington. Every game they're going to play, I imagine, is going to be cold, bitterly cold. It's going to be muddy, sloppy. It's not going to be dome games, right? It's not going to be the games that you're seeing elsewhere. And the Eagles have a team that is built for January football in Philadelphia, and that's why if they can run the table here, and we'll see what happens with Detroit, we'll see what happens with Minnesota, but like we talked about it last week. Home field advantage. The home field advantage matters so much right now. I would be skeptical that the Eagles would go into Detroit and push them around that way. Although they did the Baltimore yesterday. That said, I would feel confident.
What I saw yesterday, it changed my entire outlook.
Yeah.
Like now I go, it doesn't matter. Yeah, obviously you want the game at Lincoln Financial Field. But they can easily go into the Dome in Detroit and impose their will because Nick's right. You got to match that. You got to match their physicality. We said it on Friday. One thing I did say was you can't shy away from what I kept saying. Iron sharpens iron on Friday. Yes. You can't shy away from what you do. And they didn't. Like that's what was most impressive.
Sure, but that's my thought there is I don't see anybody, Detroit included, coming into Philly on January 25th or whatever it is and beating them. Not with the way this offensive line controls the line of scrimmage, not with the way this defense is playing, not with the way Saquon Barkley is running. And by the way, we haven't even talked about the fact that they would have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith for that game, right? So it's like the possibilities here, it's reasonable for Eagles fans to be optimistic. It's reasonable for Eagles fans to think this could be a special year because they're validating it with the way they're playing.
I say it's more than reasonable. I say it's an order.
Yeah, that's an expectation at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Detroit's good, guys. Detroit is really good. So that's one thing
Eagles
I'll say.
are great.
Listen, I'm with you. Listen, you know me, I'm a geek. I watch all this stuff.
Yeah.
They're terrific. Manhandling Baltimore on both sides. That just showed me something. I mean, look at it. I started the show looking at the box score, right? Like they get out first down, 24-17. The time possession, Baltimore 33-51 to the Eagles 26-09. Total yards, Baltimore 372, Eagles 252. And yet they dominated the football game. They done it because they had 3 really, really strong drives, right? 4 if you add the end, the one for the field goal. And Baltimore couldn't sustain.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look. You and I and VG on this show throughout the week. We all and throughout the season, we always have these friendly debates, right? Yeah. And I'm always saying you got to go for it on 4th down. You got to go for it on 4th down. And yesterday in real time, I'm saying 4th and 2, Nick. What are you doing punting the ball here? You need points. You need points. Well, you know what Nick did? Nick punts it. He pins them back. Defense forces a 3 and out. Offense gets a short field. They go down and score. That changed the game. I was there. It changed the entire game. And not just that. I spoke to Nick about this after the game. I was asking about this after the game. Nick said one of the key things in this game was the punting game, was the fact that Baltimore didn't catch their punts and the Eagles caught theirs. Baltimore let their punts drop. The Eagles caught their punts. The Eagles pinned them back inside the 5, inside the 10 twice. They made Baltimore go the length of the field. So had the Eagles gone for that 4th and 2 and not converted, and Baltimore gets a short field, and at that point in the game, Baltimore's winning, it changes the game. So by Nick punting there, and I was wrong. I said 4th and 2, you need points. You're not. I said, and I'm wrong about this. I said you're not beating Baltimore in the teens. You're not holding Baltimore to 14, 19 points. I said you're going to need to score in the 30s to win this game. Nick made that decision, and it changed. It changed the game when they did that.
So let me first laud you for your humility, but I will tell you, you're a great football man. All right, you are great football man.
Appreciate it.
We have had this debate, and I think I kept saying, "What does Jim Harbaugh do?" and John Harbaugh and Andy Reid, and now they punt the ball to play field position a game. And you remind me of my man, the Brain, who is a very successful at what he does, because he always says, "I'd rather be right than consistent." Right? Like I want to. If I see a mistake, I'm going to go, all right. This way, instead of being stubborn and trying to be consistent to my thought process, I go, okay, I know I'm wrong here. Let me go, and I'm successful. You exactly. You said what I was hoping you'd say, because at the end, I was going to bring that up to you.
Yeah. No, I own it. I own it. That's and that's the thing about watching the game with the computer screen in front of you, is like when I put this stuff out there, I would go for it here. You're holding yourself accountable, right? Because I never like it when someone says after the fact, "Oh, they should have done this." Well, when you were on the clock, what would you have done? Who's the guy you would have picked in the draft when you were on the clock? It's very easy to say it after the fact. So I absolutely said it in real time. What is Nick doing? And Nick did the right thing. And
it's funny, in real time, it worked. I was like, good move. Don't go for it, Nick. I was literally in my head going, all right, dude, punt the ball, play field position. All right. Don't force it. All right. Don't force, because that's what mistakes happen. When you force it and then you don't get it, and next thing you know, they have the ball, momentum, the whole thing, and you get blown the bleep out. Don't force it. It was great. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you brought that up.
I mean, Zach, you're probably not totally wrong. They probably should have needed to score into the high 20s if they had a kicker, if the Ravens had a kicker. I mean, this is I mean, Tucker helped them stay. I think Tucker helped the Eagles stay committed to the run and stuff. Took a lot of pressure off them missing. He left like 7 or 8 points on the board, off the board.
Well, 7 points. Yeah.
Extra point,
yeah. And momentum too.
Yeah.
Like the field goal miss, the first one, the second one was a killer. Like, because then you walk away with no points again, right? And even the extra point, being down 9 isn't scary. It's weird how that works.
Yeah, and I'm big on game flow, right? And I think game flow matters a lot. And you said it, the way you coach, the way you play when you're down 2 scores compared to once, all that matters. So when Justin Tucker is missing 2 field goals and an extra point, that in a game like that's pivotal. But like the way the Eagles operate in the 4-minute offense late in the game, it's totally different if it's a 1-score game compared to a 2-score game, right? The way Baltimore operates late in the game, it's totally different if it's a 1-score game compared to a 2-score game. So look, in December against good teams, the kicking game matters.
Zach, who is in charge? I saw you hustling. I watched him post game. I see your face with Zach Bond, and I'm hearing the music. It sounds like a couple 60-year-olds got married. You have this young team with all this swagger and physicality, and I'm hearing Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder and
what's wrong with that?
No, you don't hear that in a typical locker room of 25-year-old guys these days.
Have good taste.
Yeah. Well, Jalen's an old soul. Jalen Hurts is an old. He has his music taste is pretty eclectic. Yeah, you know what? I always tell the players I feel bad when they're doing the post game when they're doing the post game shots and their heads are looking down instead of at the camera. It's usually when they're talking to me, right? Because they have to look down to talk to me. So when like John Clark's there, they're looking straight ahead, right? When they're talking to me, they're looking down. But the musical taste, I'll find out who controls the speakers. I do know, I'm not a music guy, but I know from talking to Jalen over the years that Jalen's musical taste tends to veer closer to probably when you were growing up than when Jalen was growing up.
All right.
VG's in music. I'm not a music guy either. So VG is. I like that. I like I'm a Philly sound, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just odd here. But we went from like dreams and nightmares in 2017, 18.
Yeah. I say this not to pander. When I was in the car growing up, I listened to Anthony's show. I didn't listen to music, right? So that's I've always been sports talk and then podcasts. Sometimes book on tapes in the car, not music. Dude. Yeah,
me too. I'm with you. I'm with you, my brother. Great stuff. Awesome.
Good talking, guys.
All right, be careful.
Real quick, 2:00. Yeah, 2:00 PHLY Eagles show, Bo and me, and then like you said at the top. The next 36 hours, $36 on allphly.com to become a diehard for Fran's film breakdowns and draft analysis alone. That's highway robbery.
It is. Your work is highway robbery.
Yeah, you're
kidding me?
Appreciate it.
Doesn't get better.
Appreciate it.
36
Appreciate it. Talk to you guys.
Become a diehard, please. Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Man, it's awesome.
Here he comes.
Oh, the best. Listen, he's the man.
He lost a couple bucks this week on the Eagles game.
No, but he had the under the bar. Like he's sharp, man. All his college games all won.
Oh, he's super sharp. But I like it when he's wrong about the birds.
Let's get him up here.
When he's
the the only brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
My main man, the brain, crushing it as always. Brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook Online Casino app. Brain. Wow. Let me ask you, because you're a football man. You love sports. The Cooper DeJean tackle on Henry, was that the greatest tackle you've seen since I don't know, Sheldon Brown?
Well, it was a great tackle, but in fairness, can I watch it probably too many times? Henry really caught it and kind of didn't have a chance to get his bearings, so to speak, and go full stream. But yes, it was an incredible tackle by a guy who's been an incredible draft pick. And this defense, Anthony, you talk about just a turnaround of all turnarounds. But I got to say, when I am wrong, I'm front and center. I admit it. I own it. And VG was right, Anthony. I got to tell you, I've been doing this for a lot of years. And I was actually thinking about it when I came on the show today. I don't think I've ever had a game. And I've bet, honestly, probably tens of thousands of games. That's how many games I'm betting. So I'm betting hundreds every day, almost whatever. I bet 7 things in that Eagles game yesterday. I took the collar. 0-7.
Oh,
I had Dallas Goedert over 41.5, lost. Dallas Goedert over 4.5 catches, lost. Jalen Hurts over 18.5 completions, lost. Jalen Hurts over 223 yards, lost. Saquon under 93.5 rushing, lost. Saquon over 15.5 receiving. I got great numbers in all these. All these numbers closed 5 yards in my favor. Lost. And the Ravens minus 2.5. Lost. I lost all 7 things I did, which basically wiped out what would have been a good Sunday to a break-even Sunday, because that game wiped out literally all my profits. It happens.
I know you did good in college, because all your college
I did. I had a good college day, and I had a good day in the NFL yesterday. I was up, except for I was up about probably 8 or 9 units, and I lost it all back on the Eagles game. But I got to ask you guys a question, both you guys. I thought it was an interesting game. I thought up until it was, I'm trying to remember the exact score. It was 14-12 in the fourth quarter when the Eagles went on that drive to go up by 9.
Yeah.
I thought up until that point, I'm not going to say domination. I think that's an overstatement, but I thought the Ravens severely outplayed them. I mean,
well, you know what's interesting? I started the show by reading the box score, right? This is where the box score lies, right? First downs, Baltimore 24-17. Total plays.
It's not as simple as that.
What's that? Yeah,
it's not as simple as that, obviously.
No, I know, but it tells a story, right? When you see they time possession 33 minutes 51 seconds to 26:09. Total yards, Baltimore 372 to 252. Yet, you know what the difference was? Those 3 touchdown drives, right? There were prolonged drives that 100%. They were able to cash in. And I say it's the trenches, right? Where the Eagles won that game. Lamar never got free to improvise. Every time he stepped up in the pocket, and what he likes to do is, they over pursue off the edges. He steps up, and then he can move left or right to make something happen. They were at his feet, like they were hunting his feet, and he could never get free.
Yeah, well, in the first half, I thought there was 2 plays. I remember Lamar could have had completions that would have gotten Baltimore points. He missed easy throws. Tucker cost him 7 points. When you're playing a great team like the Eagles, and you just give away charity like the Sixers gave Joe Embiid's contract to him, when you start giving charity like that, okay, and it's St. Jude's Hospital, and you're giving it to a great team like Philadelphia, credit to the Eagles, Anthony, and I really mean credit to the Eagles.
And Aguilar, I took great,
oh my God,
I took great glee in Aguilar dropping 2 balls. Oh my God, it was the best.
But that's what I'm saying. But you know what's funny? I always say, Anthony, and you being a newspaper guy for many years, I always say, how will tomorrow's newspaper read? How could it have read? And to me, if I'm a Baltimore person, there's too many woulda, coulda, shoulda here to even list. I mean, like if they played this game again, I actually think Baltimore should have won, honestly. But they did everything in their power not to win. And again, credit. And the one thing I was most impressed with the Eagles, though, Anthony, was, you know what? When they needed to run the ball, they did it. And that to me showed a lot. That to me showed, out of anything I've seen all year, because this Baltimore team had been unmovable all year. And you know what? They kicked their butts when they had to do it.
Yeah,
Barkley and the offensive line won when they needed to win.
Yeah.
And that to me was the biggest positive and the most thing. You're like, okay, this team now, if they can run their offense against the team that was the hardest to run against, Anthony, they should have, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but they should absolutely be able to score on anyone. And I don't have any, because to me, this was the one matchup and say, all right, maybe this is the one game that they struggle to score because they can't do what they want to do.
Listen, I thought the same thing. I thought the Ravens would win the game. I did. I mean, I went into the game. I went, yeah, you know what? You won in LA.
Yeah.
You down. There's a little different beast. They're better against the run. They're really good against the run. Right? That's your biggest strength. And I thought the same thing. But here's the other thing, Brain, that really got me. And I was what was the fact that if you think about the Ravens offense, the one touchdown was a throw you should never make, by the way.
Sure.
All right? Like, you should never make. Their defense is the best in football. I mean, I
think that's fair.
All right?
Anthony, I agree with you.
Think about it. You watch all the teams like I do. You got Kansas City.
It's very fair.
You got Minnesota. You got the Chargers. Denver.
I'm going to go over the top. I think it's actually by a pretty wide margin.
Right? I'm thinking the same thing.
You know? Yeah. I don't think it's even like, I don't even know if I'd even say, like, I kind of think it's kind of like...
the defenses I came up with, Kansas City, Denver, the Chargers, Minnesota. Right? And the Eagles are better than all of them.
Eagles are better than all of them. You know, Anthony, again, Barkley changed this entire team. Like it really is amazing the impact he's had on this team. It can't be overstated in my opinion. And then the 2 rookies.
Yes.
Right. And then listen, the improvement from the Georgia guys too.
Yeah. Because Carter's a second-year guy, but he's had such a dramatic impact.
He's become it's funny. Usually you don't get like defensive tackles who truly dominate. That's like such a rare thing. Aaron Donald. That's what made Aaron Donald to me.
Yeah.
Right up there with Reggie White as the best defensive lineman ever. It's such a hard thing to get. And I'm not putting him anywhere in that class, please.
No, I agree. I agree with you. He's playing every snap too.
He's playing every snap, which is again another rare thing. And I just, again, I always, you got to give, because again, he took it up the wazoo. When they were struggling after that Tampa Bay game, Fangio was basically considered to be, by a lot of people, oh God, what's this guy doing? And this is this. And you gotta, when things turn around like this, give a lot of credit to the coaching staff for knowing what they have, figuring it out. Anthony, you say it all the time. It's your best line ever, in my opinion. NFL is a coaches league. I think the Eagles have shown this year, again, you got to respect the defensive coordinator in like this. It's obviously changed things around substantially. And right now, Anthony, I got to be honest, with the Lions injuries and everything, Right now, the Eagles are plus 550 on the Park site. I think it's the best Super Bowl bet on the board.
Wow!
I really do. I do. I actually really do, because I don't think Detroit, Anthony. I think their injuries. I see it when Caleb Williams goes up and down the field like Swiss cheese. I think they're losing like 8 defensive starters. It's not that's next man up thing. You can't just keep losing all your players and say it's not going to affect you. I think Detroit's in trouble. I actually think they may lose 2 games, not just 1. And the way the Eagles team's playing, Anthony, again, I
agree.
love the way they're playing right now.
I agree. Those Lions injuries. Now we'll see about how long they are. Like Zadarius Smith got banged up again, right? I'm not sure about what the timetable is, but I'm with you, man. And losing Angeloni was a big loss for them.
They have a lot, Anthony. They have a lot of it. Now, their offense, to me, is still, in my opinion, if I could choose an offense, I like theirs the best.
Yeah, I do
because
too.
I love how they have the 2-headed monster.
Yeah.
And then they have, obviously, really good tight end, great receivers, the great offensive line. The Eagles really should, in my opinion, be like the second best offense in the NFL, but I don't think they are. I don't think they're there. And I don't know if that's if it's Jalen Hurts not quite what he was in the Super Bowl year, because the talent's there. I mean, obviously the talent is there, and they're really good. They're really good. But I don't know if I'd put them at Detroit's level for that. But defensively right now, Anthony, I think you nailed it. This is a team that, man, you don't want to face this team.
No.
You don't want to face this team.
No, just how they have.
I give them a lot of credit.
Amazing. And they do it without an end. Like a big-time edge guy.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's
very rare. If you think about it, that's
on
the
edges, what's up with iron? They got iron at linebacker. All in the middle, baby. Oh, my God. I love watching that kind of
Anthony, been an amazing turnaround. And again, the Georgia guys have all improved their games significantly from what we saw last year. And to me, again, I'll say it again right now, plus 550 on the Park site. I'm going to be back in town Friday. I'm going to be driving to there making a large wager. I'm letting you know right now. I like the Eagles getting plus 550. I think it's the best Super Bowl bet on the board right now.
Hey, Brain, I'm looking at MVP votes. Saquon second at plus 400. Did he overtake Lamar? Was Lamar second before the weekend?
Yeah. VG, great question. Yeah, listen, these things are always fluid, so I try not to overreact. Look, I said when I did the Birds Huddle yesterday, I missed the boat. They were asking me about MVP. That boat left without me. When it was 60-1 was the time to hop on. Then he has the 255-yard game. To me, VG, the fact that he beat him head-to-head, and they're going to finish, like 11-6. Their record's not going to be good enough, Baltimore. To me, it is a 2-race field. It is Saquon Barkley, Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen, in my opinion, will win and deserves to win.
I mean, he may have locked it up last
night.
As
good as Saquon is, it can't be argued.
Did you see he caught one and ran one on the anomaly?
Yeah, the same play.
You take him off that team, guys. Take him off that team. They're 5-12.
I agree.
If you take Saquon Barkley off the Eagles, they're nowhere what they are right now. But it's not even close, in my opinion. I think what would have to happen is something borderline catastrophic would have to happen to the Bills and Josh Allen for him not to win.
I agree.
Because it's not about the stats.
Yeah.
He carries the team.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Who do you got tonight? Denver and Cleveland tonight. Broncos.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah, it is. They're playing great football, but do you trust them as
a lot of points.
What is it? 6 on the bet park?
6.
That's a big number.
Yeah, 6.
It is a big number, Anthony. It is a big number. But I will say this again, like Peyton, again, just an incredible coach. I definitely think they're going to win the game. I lean Denver. Part of it because we talk about spots. We had that situation last year with the Browns winning their Super Bowl. In essence, that was their Super Bowl against Pittsburgh. Will they have the same motivation? Probably hard. I do think Cortland Sutton, his receiving yards was 63.5, Anthony. I think that's a tad light. His last 5 games, he's averaging 97 yards a game. So Brown's secondary hasn't been great. I do think he goes over. I'm going to give you 2 things in the NBA real quick, Anthony. Dennis Schroeder, Brooklyn Nets, under 7.5 assists. 15-4 to that under, only averaging closer to 6.5. It's 1 too high. And Dyson Daniels, Atlanta Hawks swing guy, over 2.5 assists, 8-2. He's averaging 3.6 right now. That's a little bit too low at 2.5.
Here it is. The Brain at Brad's Best Bets. My brother, great stuff as always, pal.
All right, buddy. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. The great Brain. Man, I'll tell you. I get so excited over this defense.
I can tell.
Dude, those kids are the best. He's CJGJ. He's been physical all year.
He had a good game yesterday.
He had a nice hit on Henry yesterday. He had a nice hit.
Pretty good. All right,
good.
We got a lot to get to. The playback you don't want to miss because we're going to freak out over the playback for sure. We got Franny Films coming up. Another reason why to capitalize on the Cyber Monday PHLY sale. $36 to become a diehard. I'm telling you, it's worth it. All right, let's talk about our good friends at Golden Nugget Jewelers. That's right. It's where Philly gets engaged. Look, we're now on a race to Christmas. Thanksgiving comes late this year, so now it's a race to Christmas. You're thinking, all right, well, I got to get a gift. All right, well, for her, here you go. Golden Nugget Jewelers, my man, your own, right in the heart of Center City, 8th and Chestnut. Jewelers Row, they got everything you want. You want diamond earrings? Got them. Pendants? Got them. Right? Bracelets, anklets, they got them. All right? Maybe you met somebody that you go, this is it. I want to get engaged by Christmas or New Year's. Perfect time to go see your own and get the engagement ring that will knock her socks off. Trust me, you got to go to 8th and Chestnut, the heart of Jewelers Row in Center City. GoldenNuggetJewelers.com. Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. All right, time now for Parks Casino. That's it, baby. Parks Casino, Street Road, Bend, Salem. Let me get the lineup. We always tell you about the Excite Center and the great acts that are going to Parks Casino. Well, here we go. Pennsylvania's #1 casino, less than 2 hours from New York, from anywhere, South Jersey, Delaware. Make sure you get up there for all the comedy and concerts. This Thursday night, comedian Joe Conklin, the City Rhythm Orchestra annual holiday show at 8 p.m. And you know who's there? Baldini. And he's singing Dominic the Donkey.
Dominic the Donkey.
January 17th, comedian Jessica Kierson. January 18th, the reggae sounds of Shaggy.
It wasn't me. Put me on the counter. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me. He's stepping on my toes now.
January 24th, actor Richard Kind from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Whoa, Larry, whoa.
February 8th, Jerry Cantrell, Alice in Chains.
I'm the man in a box.
Comedian Ron White, March 21st.
Can't fix stupid.
March 8th is magician Michael Carbonaro.
That's my card. He gets my card.
Country star Lee Bryce Harper, March 22nd.
There's a rumor going round about me and you.
You can enjoy dinner and drinks before the show. Liberty Bell Gastropub, Parksville Steakhouse, Bamboo Noodle House, ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, got to be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino, this is how you win.
Scotty McCreery must have sold out. No Scotty McCreery today.
No, I was wondering.
I was getting ready to sleep 5 more minutes.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I mean, like, where's that? Somebody's missing.
Yeah.
All right. This portion of the show brought to you by Rite Aid. Go to RiteAid.com for the store near you, your neighborhood pharmacy. All right. Now joining us. I love his work. You got to see his breakdowns, man. Become a diehard, you'll be able to see him. All his stuff, his draft stuff, you name it. I mean, he is spectacular. He, of course, is our man, Franny Films, Fran Duffy. Good morning, Franny Films.
Morning, Ant. Morning, VG. How's it going, guys?
What's up?
Dude, I mean, I'm kind of gaga right now. And my man, watching Cooper DeJean's hit on Henry.
You want to play it again in case Franny hasn't seen it?
I'm sure he's seen it 100 times. But why not? I want to see it again. Go for it, Frazier. Play it again, Frazier. Let me see it. Look at it. Look at it, Franny Films. Look at that perfect technique. And then drive. Oh, my God. The technique was perfect. Look at him coming in. Heat-seeking missile. Look at that. Look at that, Fran. Look at that. I love that kid. What do you think, Fran?
It's beautiful.
Isn't that thing?
No, it's beautiful. And look, I'm going to throw something at you guys last second. Andrew, I don't know if it's possible for you as we're doing this, as I'm talking, but if you go to the last video I just posted on Twitter, it's of that play. Okay. And we were having fun with the celebration after, like him doing the celebration afterwards on the postgame show yesterday. I loved that all the teammates, like the whole defense is all doing it on the sideline right afterwards. So I'm going and I'm watching the film this morning, and them all doing the celebration happens during the play. And I'm sitting here watching this back, dying this morning, cracking up, laughing at this group, because you just see that energy. You see that that juice from the sideline. And so basically, like, as the hit happens, you see the guys with the warming jackets on, with the heating jackets on, they're jumping out of the bench and they're all doing the celebration. And it was phenomenal. It's just like, it's a great example.
Go. Let's look at
yesterday. We were having fun with the celebration from
Cooper
DeJean's outstanding play.
All right, let it play.
You're gonna love this. It's such a good look at what the energy that this entire group is playing with, because and again, it's not even just the guys that are already up like along the sideline. It's the guys that are on the bench. It's the guys with the jackets. Assistant coaches are coming from like 30 yards away to come and join in. So here we go. I'm gonna start circling. I like zoom in on the play, and it's just such a great example again of like, it's honestly, it's the same thing as like when you see offensive linemen, pointing before Saquon Barkley takes off for a 40-yard touchdown. It's the same idea where you just see that like the execution on both sides of the football, it just brings so much juice to the team. Watch all these guys jumping up. You see Jalen Hunt, you see Jordan Davis, you see Mora Ojima, and like to me, like that's why like this is, if you've ever played sports in your entire life, this is what it's all about. Like this is the stuff that you miss from when you played. This is the assistant coach coming from 40 yards away, doing the celebration that apparently they all talked about in the meeting rooms on Saturday. And it's just awesome to see it come to fruition on a Sunday night.
What is the celebration? Is it like an eagle wing?
I honestly, I'm still not sure. I know Zach Berman did catch up with players in the locker room about it after the game. But again, I kind of equate it. It's very similar to you see like offensive linemen celebrating after blocks and receivers going nuts after blocking players. You saw that last week with AJ Brown and with Britton Covey as well. Springing Saquon on some of those long runs. It's the same thing, man. You just the vibes from this team on both sides of the ball, immaculate right now.
You know what it reminds me of too? It's like in basketball, if someone posterizes somebody and the bench they go nuts, right? Or a big shot, bang, three, and the bench going wild, freaking out. Like that tackle, but it was just, what was great about it? And this is what I love the kid, right? Because a couple things. One, he's like, I love Iowa football, right? Like that in the brand, like Iowa, the brand, like watching the Big Ten tackle, right? Like it's run, defense, the whole thing. And you look at the technique, it's what you teach kids. Like I help coach, right? Kids and all. And you teach them that. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. And then he just picks them up, drives them. It was just so perfect, right? Like the kids know he has made such a difference in this defense. Him, and we'll get to Carter in a minute, but he's made such a difference in like the middle of the field, whether it was Cup or Jamar Chase. I mean, he's made this defense just formidable. I mean, it's incredible.
And even before he makes the tackle, Ant, he's the one who helps force the check down because he gets underneath the curl route that Lamar Jackson wanted to hit. The rush did a good job of getting home, right? So they forced Lamar off his spot. So he had to settle for the check down a little faster than he would have liked. But Cooper DeJean gets underneath the curl route, takes that read away from Lamar Jackson. So now Lamar has to get off his spot, settle for the check down, and then come down to make the tackle. Like teach tape stuff. That's exactly what the entire Fangio defense is all based off of.
Yeah. No, it's spot on. All right, let's get into the whole thing and unwrap the defense. And it starts with Carter up front. Again, playing every freaking snap. He's in the backfield. I mean, he just Lamar couldn't shake him. He completely disrupted their offense.
Yeah, and then that's what you see with Jalen Carter. I mean, he played every snap, like you said, up until the final snap of the game. And honestly, that's not sustainable. They're not going to be able to do this for long. In this game, I think you wanted that. It's the same thing as like Kenny Gainwell had no carries yesterday. That's not the rest of the season. You don't want that to be the case, I think, with this offense. But I think when you look at this team, they knew that this was a measuring stick game, and this was one that was going to matter for them going into the playoffs. They were not going to be tested in this way moving forward into the postseason, and so you wanted to have this win. You wanted to have that to be able to to have in the memory banks going into January football. And I think when you look at the importance of the game, that's where it really resides. It was what this would do to pay dividends down the road, but ultimately, when you look at Carter, he has really upped his game. I would say over the first like 5-6 weeks of the season, he was playing well, but it was not like the consistently dominant presence. We saw it in week 3 against New Orleans. And then after that, it was like a flash play here and there. And he was playing well, but not like this level. Right now, I mean, he's damn near unblockable if you leave him single blocked, and teams are double. I feel like everybody before was like, oh, he's getting double teamed every snap. The numbers were that he was not getting double teamed every snap in the first half of the season. Teams have now tried to flip that. I mean, he's being double teamed in the first 2-3 quarters of games at like 68%, 70%. That's extremely, extremely high. And we saw it yesterday. I mean, Milton Williams had 6 pressures yesterday. All of them came when he was single blocked because all the attention is going to Jalen Carter. Right? And Nolan Smith, he's getting single blocks on the edge because you're so worried about Jalen Carter. And so he's playing at such a high level right now.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing because that Ravens offense is ridiculous. I mean, they're really good. I know Bateman got hurt yesterday, and they had to rely on Aguilar, which I took major glee out of him dropping 2 more balls. He is the headless horseman who just with Waldo hands. Oh my God. He does. He's the worst. I brought back the memories of having to watch him every week. But this offense is legitimate, is really, really good. The Fangio scheme, what's he doing? Because after the second drive, he makes those adjustments, and that's it. He did it against Cincinnati. He did it against the Rams, got the 3 and outs against the Rams after the first 2 drives, and again yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly the formula is relatively simple. Like, hey, we're not going to let you take those deep balls over the middle of or down the field. We're going to take away the deep shots. So that from a coverage standpoint, there's always going to be that ceiling. There's always going to be that roof over the defense where you're not going to be able to attack down the field. So that means you're going to have to settle for the stuff underneath, and we're going to be really good tacklers underneath. And so we're going to make you earn every single yard. You're not going to run against us, right? We're not going to be giving up yards on the ground because we're so stout up front, and we're sure tacklers. And so at the end of the day, we're going to say, okay, you can't go downfield. They're the best defense in the NFL in terms of throws over the middle right now. The teams have not been able to access that part of the field consistently. And that's because the big thing, remember after the Tampa Bay game, they said, look, the biggest thing right now, when you looked at the big plays they allowed in that game, there were guys just running free. There was too much space. There was too much air in the coverage. And now, I mean, that group is just suffocating the middle of the field. You do not see players running free over the middle. If a guy is leaving one zone, another Eagles jersey is there to pick him up consistently. They're always working in tandem on those kind of plays, work in the middle. And so to me, the big thing is that they're consistently just forcing those checkdowns. And then just like that Cooper DeJean play, like you dump it off into the flat, we're not missing that tackle. If it's 3rd and 11, we're getting off the field in that way. And it just happens more often than not. This defense has been excellent in the red zone. They've been excellent on 3rd down. They're not allowing the stuff in the middle of the field. They're not giving up deep shots at like a historic rate, especially since week 6. You can't run against them. They make things very, very difficult. And to your point, like this Baltimore offense coming into this game, if you went and you looked at the scouting report going in from that I posted on allphly.com last week, littered in blue. I mean, the number 1 team in EPA per play, the number 1 rushing offense, number 1 in explosive plays, number 1 in red zone, number 1, like across the board, they were just outstanding, and they could beat you in so many different ways. And the Eagles just took everything away from them. They were playing, with both hands tied behind their back in this game. What they did against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, I mean, it's one of the top performances of the season by any defense.
What a couple things that I kind of want to talk about here is where are they vulnerable? Because you know what's funny? I thought yesterday where I thought Baltimore would be able to run on them. Like I thought Henry would be able to get kind of churning. That's what scared me the most. And they really, I mean, when you get 80 yards, wherever it was, but it wasn't, it wasn't like the chunk yards, and he never was able to bust one. Like they're such good tacklers. Like he came close a couple times where I thought, and they were at his feet. They hunted feet yesterday in a great way. Lamar and Henry.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing when you're going up against Henry is you want to prevent that momentum from building, right? Because he is that runaway freight train off the tracks if he can get going. And I thought for the most part in this game, they did a great job of keeping that from happening. And that means defensive line, you've got to displace your block. You've got to create that movement to change the line of scrimmage to not let him get rolling. They only gave up 3 runs of more than 7 yards. You mentioned he hit about 80 on the day. One of those runs went for 19 yards in the first half. And so basically they held him like 2 yards a carry outside of that 19-yard gain. So they just did an outstanding job for the large majority of the afternoon. And ultimately, I think it goes down to just being really short tacklers. And that's what you're seeing time. I mean, how many times have we seen underneath Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, all those guys just hold up really, really well. I thought Jordan Davis played really well inside yesterday.
So did I.
We already talked about Jalen Carter.
I thought he played terrific yesterday. I thought that was his best game.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to need when you go up against a team like Baltimore. If this team goes to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to go through Detroit. He's going to have to show up in that game against Detroit. If they play a team, whether it's Baltimore or like Buffalo likes to be able to run the football. That's a smash mouth team. You're going to need Jordan Davis in that game. So these are the kind of games where, the number 90, he's going to have to show up in the middle.
What'd you think of Jalix Hunt? Because I thought Jalix flashed to me.
Yeah, he was able to get his first half sack, gets on the board there with that sack with Zach Bond. That entire defensive line, though, and I mean the way that they were flying around in this game. I was talking with somebody late last night from the organization, just said that you could tell they came into that game knowing like, hey, the spotlight's going to be on us. And I was taken aback by there was no rotation from that group. We talk about Jalen Carter playing so many snaps, but Milton Williams played 40 snaps. They only played 3 edge rushers the entire day. You had Nolan Smith, you had Josh Sweat, and you had Jalix Hunt. They didn't play Chuck Harris. Teron Jackson was not active. They didn't play any of these other guys. So you had 3 edge rushers. Milton Williams played a season high and a career high in snaps. And those guys, they were chasing Lamar Jackson down the entire afternoon with no break. Just an outstanding job from that entire group. And they were flying off the ball. I love the way Nolan Smith has been playing for the last month and a half. That entire group is really playing well.
Yeah, they truly are. Where do you think, if you're an OC, how do you attack them?
I think the big thing you do want to try and see if you can get some running or get the run game going to the perimeter. I think that's one area, especially Nakobe Dean, like that he would be an area you want to try and see if you can get him isolated. And we've seen teams try, right? I mean, think of Jacksonville, that was their goal, in that final drive. We're going to try and get a running back isolated with Nakobe Dean, and Nakobe made an outstanding play. But that's kind of where you want to try and see if you can attack this defense, right? Because the corners are playing outstanding. You're not attacking the middle of the field in the pass game with consistency. So I think you want to be able to try and see if you can get the perimeter run game going, and then see if you can attack Nakobe Dean. Outside of that, like you're going to have to, you almost have to play flawless football. You can't, be stepping on the rake if you're an opposing offense going up against this group right now.
Stepping on the rake. That's a great football man term right there. I love it. That's a football guy term. Can't step on the rake. Let's go offense. And again, when they needed it most, iron sharpens iron. Go at it, run the ball, and they ran the ball when they needed to.
They did. And look, this was one we talked about it on the halftime show yesterday, myself and Bo Wolf. It was like, in that locker room at halftime, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, they're going to the offensive coaching staff saying, guys, it's going to break. We're going to break one in the second half. And this has been a second half running team over the course of this season. Saquon Barkley's at a legendary pace right now in fourth quarter with what he's been doing in games. And he did it again in this one. He gets that 25-yard touchdown run off of tackle power, which is a play that they've run with Saquon 2 other times all season long. They chart every play and look at all the different run concepts they run. They have not run that often. And so they busted out in this game where you've got Jordan Mailata pulling from the backside as a lead blocker, like a fullback in the hole. And he is able to spring Saquon for a big play and for the touchdown. But it's at the end of the day, when you're going up against this offense, it's a battle of like attrition, because at some point Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts. Like, that talent is going to win out. So, like, say what you want about the scheme, and look, we'll question some of the things they do schematically and some of the things they don't do schematically, right? But at some point, if the defense is only letting you score, if they're letting up 15, 16, 17 points a game, this offense, like, by default, with that talent, they're going to put up 21. They're going to put up 24. They're going to put up 27. And so, like, if they're not on their A game, they're still going to be able to put up points just because that sheer talent with that offensive line, it's going to get home.
I mean, it's truth. I mean, that's the story yesterday. I mean, they threw for 112 yards. Yep. 112 yards. I mean, that's it. And you never felt like they were really in peril other than after the start of the game.
Yeah, we were talking about it too. Like, Jalen Hurts, he completed 11 balls, on the afternoon. I'm going to go back and chart everything here, but going through the numbers last night, 10 of them were off RPOs and play action, which that's good, but it's not like we're doing the straight drop back pass game and we're going to let Jalen read it out. It's when you go RPO and play action, those are very defined, like one read throws for Jalen Hurts, which that's good. Like, hey, going up against a defense in Baltimore that can be confusing with their disguises and everything they're going to try and do from that standpoint and creating pressure, that's a good way to get the ball out fast and just let your playmakers make plays. Jalen Hurts is the point guard right now, for this offense. And look, it led to you had some inconsistency,
Romo made the
certainly,
point,
but
you're right. And Romo made the point early because you could see during their first couple drives that, you know what, the coverages were confusing him. You could see it. And that's what Baltimore's known for that. And I thought the same thing because the RPO worked. It just worked. It gave him RPO play action, gave him one read, and he didn't need anything else. And it worked.
That's it. And that's why I was surprised, coming out of the locker room, for the third quarter, they had two drives. They went 3 and out after the missed field goals from Justin Tucker, right? They drive down the field, they miss a field goal, and then the very next drive, they miss another one. And the Eagles went through. They didn't capitalize on those short fields. They went 3 and out on both of them. And I was surprised that we didn't, because in the second quarter, they had a lot of, A.J. Brown had a handful of chunk plays, 15 yards, 14 yards, 17 yards, off of similar kind of plays. Their only like pure drop back throw was that little in breaker, the in cut for AJ Brown off the wrap concept and it was a high-low read. Romo pointed out in the broadcast where again, that's a one read throw. Hey, linebacker, you're reading the linebacker. Does he take the short route underneath or does he sit back against AJ? He took the underneath route and you hit AJ for 15 yards. Everything else was play action and RPO, but they didn't go back to it in the second half until a little bit later. I was kind of surprised that it took them a little bit longer to get back to it. But look, at the end of the day, like I said, the talent on that offense, it's going to wear you out if you can't keep pace against that defense.
And it goes back to defense. They're the best defense in the league. I'm thinking about you watch all the teams. Like I go, you got Denver, who plays tonight, Kansas City, Chargers defense pretty good. It's young. Minnesota, and they've looked a little vulnerable in the back end. I mean, it's the best defense in the league, I think.
Yeah, I mean, from a number standpoint, I think it's very clear. And I think ultimately, look, it's going to come down to, can this team stay healthy on both sides of the football? If this is the team going into the playoffs, no one's going to want to play this defense. No one's going to want to play this offense. When you run the ball the way that they do and you play defense the way that they do, that is something that absolutely sticks in the postseason.
And now it's just let's go. Let's see what happens. The race for the 1 seed. The schedule's all behind them now. I mean, you got Carolina and Pittsburgh, and then the division games all lined up. They're all wounded. I know Washington won yesterday, but come on, the other 2 teams are dead. Right? And Carolina, I mean, I know their offense is awoken a little bit with Bryce Young, but I mean, come on. You look at the rest of how this thing's going, and I mean, they could run the table. That's unbelievable, dude. They can run the table.
15-2.
Yeah, I mean, it's there.
Yeah, it is.
To me, I think that you have to start having conversations during the week, and this is probably like the high level leadership for the Eagles, right? Having over these next 4, 5, 6 weeks, how do you sustain how do you keep those guys fresh? Because you still want them to play. You still want Saquon. You still want Jalen Carter. You still want AJ Brown. You still want those guys to make sure they're getting their reps. But to me, like, these games should come down to, We want to jump out fast on teams. We don't want these games going into the fourth quarter because you want to be able to find ways to get those guys rest. You want Will Shipley and Kenny Gainwell and Johnny Wilson, Jahan Dotson. Like, you want those guys in the game in as many of these fourth quarters as possible, going up against the Cowboys and the Giants and the Panthers. That should be the goal here down the stretch.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. All right, let's go real quick over it because we gave you their schedule. We know the lines. And it's interesting because when you look at where Detroit is, I mean, you know, one of them, they got to lose to somebody. I keep thinking, right? I mean, here's what they got. They got Green Bay Thursday night. So that's going to be the monster.
The big one. That's
then
the one you need.
Buffalo, right? So you got Green Bay and Buffalo. Then you're at Chicago. No gimme, right? Then you're at San Fran. They could be dead by then. I mean, they're wounded. Yeah. And then home Minnesota. I mean, they got to have – don't they have 2 losses in there? They're a little banged up.
It's these next two. Yeah, it's these next 2 games. And honestly, that the one on Thursday is the big one from a tiebreaker standpoint. If Green Bay is able to beat Detroit, that creates a scenario where if Minnesota can have another loss in here as well down the stretch, because Minnesota keeps finding ways to squeak out some of these wins. If the Packers are able to beat Detroit, since the Eagles have the tiebreaker over Green Bay already, when it comes to conference record, if the Packers are able to beat the Lions, that will be huge for the Philadelphia Eagles down the stretch.
Right, because they're right, because if they're even in the conference, then it goes to common opponents, and they would. Wow. That's it, brother.
That's the big one. Like, Eagles fans should have, like, Thursday.
Go,
honestly,
Pat,
like,
go.
Yeah, it's Cheesehead Central on Thursday in Philly.
Let's go, man. We're rooting Pat. I love it. Films. Listen, tell everybody it's Cyber Monday. We got a great sale going on right now to become a diehard. Tell people about your week and what you provide.
Yeah, so I'll do a film breakdown every single week on the Eagles. So I'll have a piece coming up here, basically my 5 biggest takeaways from watching the film on both sides of the football, and then my opponent preview every single week, which is basically my raw notes from watching the opponent that goes back to last week. So I started the Carolina Panthers on Wednesday last week. I'll finish them up probably tomorrow, and the notes will go up Wednesday or Thursday. So I'll have that. I'll always have a NFL draft piece most weeks as well, looking at 5 players I've been studying. That is kicking up into high gear as we close the college football regular season. But again, it's like I'm not going to shed light just on my work. Like, Zach Berman's work, outstanding. You go to Sixers coverage, Derek Bodner and Kyle Neubeck, what Charlie O'Connor's doing from a Flyer standpoint. Like, if you are a Philly sports fan,
covering the winter meetings and doing all the baseball.
There's nothing better. This deal, you can't beat this deal right now. $36 for this coverage year round.
I love it. Films, great stuff, buddy. Thank you, pal. We appreciate
you guys.
You got like the nicest guys here. They want we ask them to hype their own work, but they always try and hype everyone else's work.
That's what they're about, man. Well,
I had to make it because I was trying to envision what he would look like, but that is Nelson Aguilar with Waldo hands and Headless Horseman.
That's him.
Yeah, that's him.
That's Aguilar. Dude, I smiled, man, because he had 2 of them that he dropped. What was a ridiculous drop?
What's with your Aggie hate? You hate Aggie?
Why, you don't?
I'm indifferent to Aggie.
Oh, I couldn't stand him.
No.
He was the. You don't remember how frustrating?
He helped us get a ring.
Please, come on, bro. He was horrendous.
You remember the guy? It was like a fire. He had to catch the baby out of that building.
Yes.
I got hands, unlike Aguilar.
Yeah, unlike Aguilar, I can catch.
Yeah.
You remember that? That was the best. That was the greatest, man. That was the best. All right. Lots to get to. Let's talk about some of our friends. Time now to give you more from Parks Casino, Street Road, Bend, Salem. Here we go. You ready? Here it is. Now, don't step on his line now. All right, Frage?
No, I won't. I promise.
All right. Here we go. The Excite Center, Parks Casino, the casino of choice for yours truly. Everybody else here in PA. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Close to Jersey, Delaware, you name it. All the great stuff. Pennsylvania's #1 casino. The Excite Center, state-of-the-art entertainment venue. Named one of the best places for concerts and comedy. Tickets on sale right now for these headliners. Thursday night, comedian Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra annual holiday show, 8 p.m. at Parks Casino.
Tickety tick, is Dominic the donkey.
You can hear that from the crooner Mike Baldini as well. He does that well.
He does do that really well.
Yeah. January 17th, comedian Jessica Kierson. January 18th, the reggae sounds of Shaggy.
Because she caught me on the counter.
Wasn't me.
Now, there you go. Good execution, fellas. January 24th, actor Richard Kahn from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Whoa, Larry, whoa, hey.
February 8th, Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains.
If I could you.
March 8th, magician Michael Carbonaro.
Hey, he's got my car keys. How'd he do that?
Comedian Ron White headlines March 21st.
Can't fix stupid.
Country star Lee Brice, March 22nd.
There's a rumor going around about me and you.
Enjoy dinner and tricks for the show. Liberty Bell Gastropub, Parks Grill Steakhouse, Bamboo Noodle House, ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, VG, tell us about a little Rite Aid.
It's that time of year. Bugs, flus, viruses are all floating around out there, and we've been gathering with people, and we're indoors.
So we should gather with people.
Yeah, of course. So you just might want to protect yourself and your family. Stay up to date on your immunizations. And where can you do that? Over at our friends at Rite Aid. Most Rite Aid pharmacists are specially trained and certified immunizers, and most vaccines, they'll cost you nothing with your health insurance or group plans like Medicare Part D. Rite Aid pharmacists can vaccinate you for pneumonia, tetanus, whooping cough, chickenpox, RSV, the highly contagious seasonal virus that affects the respiratory tract, COVID-19, and shingles. Shingles, a painful rash caused by the same virus that causes chickenpox. So if you've had chickenpox, you're at risk of shingles. So what do? You got some questions or whatever? Ask your Rite Aid pharmacist. There's no questions too small. You can ask them if you're up to date. If you're nervous, they'll calm your nerves a little bit. They'll take their time to make some personalized recommendations for you. No questions are too small. Just walk in and schedule an appointment Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. State, age, and health restrictions may apply. Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for more details.
VG, thank you much. All right. One thing I do want to say, because we've been telling you about the Cyber Monday deal a lot, or becoming a diehard. Just remember, we work really hard at PHLY. Our guys, the staff here is amazing. Also would help, and this doesn't cost anything, just subscribe to the shows, all right? Just hit that subscribe button, and then all the shows come right into your inbox. It helps with all the algorithm and getting us out there because we're there's a lot of work goes in behind the scenes with all the content we produce. So if you could just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Again, it's free. And boom, you got us on YouTube right in your inbox. And of course, you can check us out, as always, on Roku, Samsung, Xfinity One now. We're on the X1 platform and all your channels. So,
it's
a big deal.
Subscribe, it helps.
It does. Every little bit helps. All right, time now to relive it, shall we?
Let's do it.
This is my favorite time on a Monday. A win like yesterday, where you get to relive. What are you laughing at?
I was just thinking, you should just play the Cooper DeJean hit for like 12 times. That'll be our replay.
I mean, we could do that.
I did love that, man.
That's a great hit.
It was, man. But yesterday's
like
game.
Your Zapruder film, is that what it is with the Kennedy
Zapruder film. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? A game like yesterday was, like, to me, football, pure football. Yeah. Right? Like what we love about, like, especially like Philadelphia football, which is, you know, it's cold down there. There was some snow, right? It's physical. And they were able to tackle, right? Like, God, how many times, I mean, think about what we had to endure since Jim Johnson passed, right? And then you had the whole Chip Kelly who just killed his defenses into Gannon, right? And look, they had some moments with the pass rush, but, you know, that defense couldn't tackle. The back seven was propped up, right, by a front, and it was propped. It couldn't, against good quarterbacks, it got riddled. And now all of a sudden you got a real D.
Think about how many years we have to look forward to watching Cooper tackle.
Yeah,
I know.
Young.
Look, there's the one thing. They're young. This defense is way ahead of schedule.
Quinyon was targeted 4 times, 4 yards.
I mean,
Monster.
he's
Against one of the
unbelievable.
best offense in football.
San Quinion.
Oh, man.
Amazing. All right, let's get it started. The playback. You want to just enjoy this one. Here we go into the tunnel. It's warm up. Right? Warming up his guys, talking to his guys, the inspirational leader.
I got it. Wake up! Hey, y'all, man. I can't wait to watch y'all boys out there, man. Let's go out there, man. Let's take over the game. From the jump. You know, why play with them, man? We got a lot of people trying to play today. Hey, I need them young guys out there. I need everybody to play the game because we whooping their So let's go out here, man. Let's go take care of business, man. Let's go have some fun, man. Let's go do them dance that we've been practicing all week. Hey, like I say, take that seatbelt off, man. Hey, it don't matter what they do, it's what we do. They ain't seen us. So I can't wait to see y'all boys, man, go out there and take care of business. Hey, dogs on 3. 1, 2, 3, dogs.
Dogs.
Dogs on 3.
That's what they do. It's what we do.
Right.
Iron sharp as iron.
That's what we said. It. People doubted us. But that's what we said.
Lamar, scramble. Right? Look at this. Get started early. Zay Flowers. No. Right? You're going, oh, no. It's Lamar, MVP. Oh, no. But a little something that portended for the future of that game. Carter on Zay Flowers in the backfield. This portended the things to come for things to come.
And this time, what a play by Jalen Carter bringing down Flowers.
Are you kidding me?
And this time, what a play by Jalen Carter bringing down Flowers. And this time, what a play by Jalen Carter bringing down Flowers.
And now, listen, this touchdown, it's pretty nuts. This, you shouldn't throw this ball. It's an incredible throw and then that ball. First of all, what was interesting about Lamar yesterday is how much he backed up.
I was about to ask.
He kept backing up and backing up and backing up because he was penned in from the edges.
Yeah. How many yards did he go back there? I mean, it felt like he went at least like 10
because
yards.
he was trying to find space. What Lamar is most dangerous is when he finds space.
It was also crazy yesterday, the amount of fumbles they had that they kept recovering, the Ravens themselves.
Yeah.
They put the ball in the grass like 3 or 4 times.
Yes. All right. But the Tucker, big miss on the extra point. And that really kind of, I thought, was a big deal, right? And, of course, more from Tucker later. But it's 9-0. Then the Eagles start getting going, all right? And it's the second quarter. And here's Goddard down the sidelines.
Gives Goddard, tiptoes.
Goddard.
Touchdown, Philadelphia.
Gotta love it. Tiptoeing down the sidelines. By the way, he was open all day.
Was he?
Yeah. I mean, Goddard, we talk about him as a weapon. I thought he was underutilized like yesterday. And even yesterday, he had some, that was a big play. All right. It's 9-7 at nighttime across Baltimore. It's football, and it starts to snow.
Thinks you're playing man or zone.
Look at that shot.
The other coordinator thinks you're playing man or zone.
I mean, it's holidays, baby. Happy holidays.
Man or
zone. We saw it in Buffalo with the Lake Effect Snow last night, and that was fantastic. It was fantastic. All right, here's another one on King Heavy. Let's go. More Eagles defense. Zach Bond, who's a monster, who has just been a tackling machine.
Allocating resources down by the line. This is a big one here.
Oh, and they've got him with a big tackle by Bond in the backfield.
I hate Romo.
He was horrible last night.
He was.
That's a false start. It's a false
Well,
start.
here you go. Here it is. The push. And there it goes to take the lead. All right. Then the Ravens come down. They got a shot. And here's Tucker, who was automatic. The greatest Hall of HOF kicker begets all these incredible kickers. He's supposed to be the GOAT.
Yeah.
He is the GOAT.
He is. It's a shame, man. Not anymore.
I gotta just say he's got a hamstring issue or something at this point.
Justin Tucker with the kick.
No good.
Wow,
Again, we talked about this, but I like what his decisions. I love how he's managing the game.
I agree. Anytime we don't talk about Nick in the course of the game, it's fantastic.
The coaching staff's been tremendous.
Tremendous.
I mean, just tremendous.
That's probably the biggest. I mean, well, Barkley's the biggest difference from last year, but
And
coaching
the kid,
staff and the kids, yeah. But
Carter blossoming and DeJean and
yeah,
Mitchell.
I think some of Carter blossoming is Fangio here.
Yeah. All right. It all starts. Andrew's big catch, and you start to go, uh-oh. All right, is Baltimore going to get rolling? So dive into the primos.
If he doesn't jump catch that, there's a chance that Blankenship picks that off. He's right behind him.
Well, I mean, he makes the play. I was more concerned.
But
the real play is what happens next because it disrupts everything. Here he is. Because you can't play from behind the sticks like that constantly. Big negative play, and that's what Fangio's defense is about. Give up yards, but get the one negative play that crushes the drive.
It's demoralizing, that one there.
It is, because then you see this.
Is he really an Eagle? I
I know, dude.
I can't figure that one out.
Dude,
That's
I feel you, dude.
Wow.
I know. I feel you, man, in a big way. And of course, that sets up the greatest play of the game. All right. The greatest play I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, I got to go back to a Dawkins hit, right? Like, who was it on Algie Crumpler?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, I got to go one of those things. This is Coop
Williams. 11 are doing checkdowns, basically, to Henry.
Yes. Man, oh, man. All right, here we go. Saquon versus Henry. This is Saquon the victor. I mean, it's amazing. They held them to a $107. You imagine Saquon only got 107 yards. Only 100.
Only 107.
Is that unreal? It's amazing. Here they go. Players walking off the field victorious. That was awesome, man. Here's Saquon talking about Kellen Moore. We talk about the coaching staff, Fangio, Kellen Moore, and what they've done. And Saquon, since they became a downhill run team.
Just trusting each other.
Because this is what it looks like. It's obviously Eagles and Lions. Everything is about Thursday night, right? Lions, Packers. Like, we gotta be in on this, man. This is a game that in many ways, because you kind of understand what's going to happen with the Eagles and Carolina, right? This game is huge. Lions and Packers.
Lions and Packers and Bears. Oh, my.
We need Green Bay to win.
Yeah, we do.
All right? And then
where is that game? Is it
Detroit? Yeah, it's in Detroit.
Where do they play Buffalo? Are they playing Buffalo and Buffalo?
Detroit. They play Detroit has 3 straight home games.
Oh, man.
Thanksgiving, Green Bay, at Buffalo.
Love to see them in the snow.
But then, listen, the other one that could happen, and this goes right before Christmas, December 22nd, they're at Chicago.
Okay.
Now, they could lose that game. Then they're at San Fran. I don't think so. And then they end it home against Minnesota. I mean, You never know. Time now to go back in the day.
Yeah, let's do it.
Back.
I think you're going to like this one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What we got?
Something tells me you're going to like it.
All right.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day with Rite Aid. Yeah!
Let's go.
I love going back in the day, man.
It's going to go all the way back to yesterday afternoon. The Cooper DeJean hit.
It's Henry who's usually
he's hitting
putting
like
the punishment on everybody.
He's hitting like it's B-Dog.
It's a rookie coming up, and Dro. Watch this. It's Henry who's usually
Look at that. Look at
putting the punishment on everybody.
But
and
just the way he finishes
it's
the
a rookie coming up.
Yeah.
and
Like if you're a coach, you just go, "Oh my God, I love this." Like you swoon.
Is this just on loop now in the boys' bedroom? It's projected on their ceilings when they sleep.
So I kept saying to Anthony, "Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? That's Derrick Henry, all right? It shows you can tackle anybody. It doesn't matter how big they are.
Mm-hmm.
You proper technique, low, wrap, drive, finish."
Repeat. Watch again, boys. Watch it again, boys. No more
man.
Godfather in the house. We're watching Cooper DeJean over and over.
Over and over and over again. That's exactly right, man. That's what we do.
I was thinking there's so many. This is a team now where there's good players. Like sometimes if you want to buy a jersey, you don't want the quarterback, but there's a lot of players now you want to buy their jerseys.
Dude, on defense alone.
Yeah.
DeJean
Right?
jersey, I think I'm
DeJean,
getting.
Quinn,
Mitchell,
Carter.
Bourne, Jalen. I mean, Carter, he's outrageous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, guess what? Give it to the big guy, Davis. Jordan Davis played well yesterday.
He did.
That he did.
Jalix showed some good promise.
Yeah. It's a fun team, man.
The defense. We love defense. I love defense. Because defense.
I'm so
defense
happy
wins.
about our quarterback threw for 112.
Yeah,
15.
It doesn't matter. The quarterback doesn't matter. Like, listen, just do your job. Like, that's what he needs to do.
And they did that without Devontae.
Right.
Without Slay.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
But that's all that Jalen needs to do. It hurts is just, don't turn the ball over, right?
Yeah.
Make plays.
Clean handoffs.
And hand the ball off of Saquon.
Yes.
All right?
And
Quick, easy reads.
execute the tushy pushy.
Yeah, the tushy pushy.
I hate that.
Oh, come on,
I
Robo,
hated
do
that.
better.
That was terrible. Terrible.
False start on
All
him.
right, don't forget, Diehards, $36. All right? Please join us on allphly.com for all of our content. Frazier, great job.
Nice work.
Joey, great job, buddy,
Nice
helping the
work.
Frazier. I can't believe, man, it's over. I want to talk about more of that hit. All right, everybody, have a great day, man. We love you. All right? We got a fun week ahead of us. Fun month. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.